I told you the Border Patrol reached out to me twice.
Yeah, you give off that energy.
This was while I was living in Pennsylvania. I was like, what border do you want me to work at?
It's got an airport, right?
Banana, they say, how do you pronounce Amarillo?
Mexico.
Amarillo.
Amarillo by morning.
He's singing again.
That'll happen.
Now, who was that? Was that George Strait?
I tend to guess, if I don't know, either George Strait or Glenn Campbell, and I don't think
George
it's either.
Strait.
It's definitely not Glenn Campbell.
I think it's George Strait.
It is George Strait, yeah. Oh, from the album Straight from the Heart, which is still the worst album title in the world. Some people need to be stopped.
Get it? You hate straight people.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Ice Now.
Just imagine like all of his idols are in that theme. Extremely straight.
I was just checking, are they? He's only got 2. Straight Country, which feels weird now. Straight from the Heart, and then they become things like Right or Wrong and Something Special.
Only straight. Straight or die.
Jesus Christ.
Never
Okay.
not straight.
Banana. We're losing him.
Before we begin, the Gamers Advocate would like to remind you that any episode could contain game spoilers, so watch or listen with discretion. And now your hosts, AM Komnenos, Banana, and Legion. Enjoy the show.
Well, welcome to yet another episode of the Gamers Advocate podcast. We were joined with a very special guest today. ItsMaffie. And of course, Banana Hammock Republic is with us as always, and I am Legion. We're going to be discussing a very new game that came out called Dispatch. But first, let's know a little bit more about our guest, Maffie.
I'm not that much of a talker, but
Yeah. Well, I have the opportunity to always talk to Banana, and Banana's super, super smart, and Com's super, super smart, and I'm over here like blah, 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 blah.
same dude. Though people at work say I'm a very wise old soul, so
I've been trying to get Maffie on here for forever. I've known Maffie a little while. She's a great personality. Every time when you were streaming for a while there, Maffie, it was just you were getting more and more popular, and then she kind of dropped off because some other commitments that she had. So she's one of those that definitely prioritizes her work and personal over just pure streaming, which I can respect. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Maffie, please.
yeah, Legion, thanks for the opportunity, I guess. It's been a long time coming.
Give us a little bit of background of like what you do, if you don't mind, maybe some of your educational background, because I know it's extensive. It's definitely we have a strong personality today for sure.
If we go all the way back, and I do like to tell this story because it always seems to inspire people, I guess, that I come from an economics background in school. But I was always the type of person that was in class just drawing or writing or not paying attention in general to classes. Other than languages, I liked languages and everything to do with art. So secretly, I was like honing my skills, and then I was born in Portugal, Lisbon. I wanted out. I wanted to. I played games ever since I was, 6, I think. The first console I got was my Game Boy Advanced, where I played Pokemon. I think it was Ruby and Sapphire at the time. Mm-hmm. And then went on to play Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, and it just went from there. And then my first game on computer was like Age of Mythology. yeah. And then I went into my Dragon Ages and my Mass Effects, and it completely changed my life. And I said, I want to have this impact on someone else. So I went into games. Was not a very seamless transition. I did go to study in the UK, which provided me a bit more success than if I stayed in Portugal, because this whole industry is definitely not developed as much as I would like in Portugal and many other countries in Europe especially. So I went to study in the UK game dev. Did my 3 years of my bachelor's, and then we got the COVID lockdown. And I graduated in 2020, which I am the 2020 graduate that didn't get a party or anything. We were just kind of silently fizzled out. And I didn't get many opportunities in the industry, even though it was booming, because there wasn't a lot of junior roles at the time. Then I went on to do a course, an online course at Think Tank, which was the best move I ever made. It was really good. It really boosted my career in that regard, and it taught me a lot. So then I became a 3D character artist for games.
Yeah, and you do a lot of your own art there, which is, you've shared on your Instagram and stuff, which is really amazing, amazing stuff. If you haven't seen Maffie stuff, it's just mind blowing.
Thanks. So. I want to do way more, but I don't have time right now.
yeah. Maffie on her streams, that was one of the things she did like 2 or 3 times a week, was just art stuff, and she'd be working on your portfolio and doing that there, and people would come in, oh, so you like to draw.
So when I started streaming was when I was doing the Think Tank course, and even before that, because before that I was still in application hell, where I couldn't just find a job for the life of me, even though I was working as I was lucky enough to have been hired by the university to work as a assistant lecturer, where I would just introduce people to programs that we use a lot in the industry, such as ZBrush and Maya and all that jazz. So it's not like I was poor and hungry and, homeless. But yeah.
But you kind of were too.
I kind of was trying to scrape by. So I also started streaming, which was a huge surprise because I thought I wasn't going to like it, and I ended up really loving it. And it's now a curse that I'm always playing a game, and I do play lots of games, but for like 3 hours, and then I'm like, yeah, this game is streaming content. Like, why am I not streaming this? So I actually stopped playing the game, which is annoying because I want to play the game.
Yeah, me and Banana have talked about that you almost have to have set aside some time for yourself to play a game. That's no content is expected out of this. Like if you're kind of always expecting to like say, I can't play this because I want to save it for content, you may never get to it. And so just play it for yourself.
That's definitely
recharge.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely me.
Yeah, recharge.
I can't. I just can't, because I had just so much. I had a really good experience playing by myself. I had an even better experience playing it whilst streaming, especially with everyone that I was lucky to get on stream. So the experience was just so much better that I think I'm always losing something when I'm playing by myself.
Yeah. No, I get that. Speaking of languages, you said you like languages. How many languages do you speak?
I would say 3 very well. 4 if you consider scraping by, which would be Portuguese, which is my native language. Then English, obviously, we're speaking it. German, because I went to a German school. And Spanish, because I am Portuguese.
Yeah, I know like Spanish and English, of course, and I did take German in college, and I took German in prior to college, but I didn't take it for a class. I took Spanish in high school because it was easier that way. It was an easy A. but yeah, there's that, and also Texan. I speak Texan, so there's that.
Not a language.
Yeah.
No, it's just that Spanish for us, back when I was a kid, and we had TV cartoons in the morning. So like at 7 a.m. I'd wake up and just to go watch cartoons, because that's the only time slot that they would go on TV. And we also had, it was the VHS era. I remember distinctly watching Doraemon. I don't know if you guys know the cat, the blue cat. It was an anime, but it was translated into Spanish for us. And that was it. And so I always tell people I learned Spanish through Doraemon.
Hilarious. And Banana knows engineering, so that's its own language. So
I feel like Legion likes to bring up this language discussion just to point out that I'm the only non-multilingual person on the podcast.
What about programming languages? Does that count?
Yeah, of course.
There's a lot of overlap there. I do a little bit of software development for work, and there's definitely an aspect of like I don't have the background, like the educational background in software. It's very much like a just learn on the job kind of thing. And I think the fact that I was in an engineering role and worked with a lot of software devs made that a very easy transition, because there's a lot of overlap in the thought process there. So I definitely kind of link those two backgrounds together, those schools of thought. They just work very well together. So I definitely think of software development as a linked practice to engineering.
Because you were like an optical engineer, right?
Yeah, so I have a bachelor's and master's in electrical engineering, and my master's research is focused on optical engineering, and specifically imaging technologies for microscopic evaluation. So my thesis was on using backscattering light spectroscopy to evaluate intracranial aneurysm treatments, which is a lot of multi-syllable words that nobody uses in normal conversation. And it doesn't translate to anything else. It's very much a thing I did once. It was a very cool research project, and I'm very happy to know that they're continuing with that research, because it was a proof of concept for like a medical application. And when you get into those, you're like, oh, this could help people. You get kind of excited. And then if there's not funding or people don't see a way to make money off of it, it just dies. So I'm happy to see that like I can go look at the number of times my thesis has been cited, and it will tell me that like people are still working on that. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah, sometimes I can have a conversation with Banana about some medicine stuff, because I used to be in nuclear medicine too. So it's like, hey, we kind of have some crossover. You've been playing Dispatch lately, Maffie. You enjoying Dispatch?
Yeah, I streamed it. I've been streaming it for like a little comeback into this the Twitch channel. Man, it's so great. Music is on point, voice acting is on point, production is on point. They definitely know what they were doing, and they did, because they were Telltale X-Devs. So
artistically speaking, did you like the art style for it?
Oh yeah, that's definitely what got me into it. I watched a little bit online, and I was like, oh my god, this looks so cute. And then I went on to play it, and it's just so much more than just the art. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely such an experience, and I'm really excited to see where Ad Hoc Studios goes, because they definitely showed that they know what they're doing, and I'm really excited. I'm really pro startups from X-Devs, because we all know how tough the industry is right now with all the layoffs, and it's just generally a hard phase of the industry. So I'm really pro people going off and doing their own thing. Of course, that's not easy. Stuff like Ad Hoc Studio was the studio that is being run by ex Mass Effect devs. the one they're making. Yeah, really excited for that. Blueprints was another one. Really excited for them too. And of course, we have to mention Expedition 33, right? That's really exciting for them. Really excited to see where it goes.
Do you have a favorite character in Dispatch?
Yes, I do have a favorite. I will say that I have. It's easier for me to point out one that I don't like rather than one that I do like very much.
Okay, well, what's your least favorite and favorite?
So yeah, I would say least favorite, perhaps Sonar, because he just gives me the Crypto Bro vibes, which is totally his vibe. And it's a little bit too close to home. I know a lot of people like that. And I just don't want it in my games too, you know? The amount of people that I have been into contact that have no idea how game dev works or what like my field is all about, have asked me endlessly, like, why aren't you into NFTs? Why are you losing all this money when you could be making NFTs? I'm like, you don't even understand what NFTs are, man. So yeah, Sonar is definitely least favorite for me. I feel like they tried to make him goofy as well, which definitely also fits the vibe check.
Yeah, and I've always said that like characters that you strongly dislike usually indicate that they were written well, because you have reasons for it. You know? If they're not written well, you can't comment on it. So
it's a little too relatable. Yeah. Favorites. I guess I don't say this very often because it often is not the case, but Robert Robertson is definitely one of my favorite characters in the game, which is weird to say. That's like saying Geralt is your favorite character in The Witcher, you know? But man, he was written so well, and Aaron Paul did such a good job at portraying this character, and obviously the scriptwriters did such an incredible job. He's not what you'd expect from a main character in like games. Yeah.
I kind of thought that he was written in a way that was different, that they could have, the easiest, and I think I've mentioned this to you before, I think the easiest thing that they could have done is to make a typical hero who is not a hero by birth, right? He doesn't have any powers or whatever, but he's one of these that kind of like Waterboy, who has to struggle through life and then he becomes a hero. The easiest thing would have been for them to make him into this, not buffoon, but you know, somebody who's stumbling and has this heroic moment. They didn't do that from the
which
very
is the
first
classic
moment.
progression of hero history, like stories that we've seen in the media. He goes from zero to hero, right? And he stumbles all the way, and then he has this big moment where he really steps into his shoes. But no, Robert Robertson is the man. He is like one of the huge heroes.
Yeah, he's always capable.
Yeah, he's always capable. He's not the underdog, even though he doesn't have powers. He was very powerful when he had his suit. And I think that the progression they did, or the digression, I guess, of him being the creme de la creme into him being just a guy, was very interesting and definitely a change of pace compared to all the hero social media that we have right now.
Yeah, I think when you see stories following a main character in like a superhero kind of arc, you see a lot of that kind of cliche of them rising to the occasion and being a hero. And rarely do you ever get that kind of counterpoint to that, where they start as a hero, they experience some kind of disruption, and they have to adjust and find a way to redefine themselves. And I think that's what really works with Robertson, is that you don't ever see him regress necessarily. You don't ever see him struggling to find his way without the suit in a way that feels like that was what defined him. As you play through the game, it's clear that he wants his suit back, but he's not powerless without it. He's not helpless without it. He's still very capable, and he is obviously, he recognized it as an asset for what he wants to do, but he's not going to give up just because he doesn't have his suit. And that makes for a more interesting story than somebody who is either entirely defined by their superpowers in the way that he would have been if he just gave up after losing the suit, or that kind of cliched like, oh, he has no powers, let's see him try to find his new role and rise into being a hero now that he's just nobody. And I think that's what makes Dispatch work really well, is it's a new variation on a very historically well built out kind of style.
Yeah, the model is very different. It's unique and appreciated and underappreciated at the same time, because I have a writer's background, and writing for games is not the same thing. However, the arc that you have to present for somebody who's already capable, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, where's there to go? How do you take that to that next level? Yeah. And I think they did that masterfully. So I thought for writing purposes, it should have gotten some more awards and more accolades for the writing portion of that, because it's just there's no scene that isn't done masterfully in that game.
Purposefully as well. Like, there's a purpose to every single scene, no matter how basic it might seem or
it's like a movie.
Irrelevant. Yeah. But piggybacking on what Banana was saying as well, I feel like they did they made him so attractive in the way that he doesn't complain about his new job, even though it's not where he wants to be. He doesn't want a desk job. He's a hero. He wants to be out fighting criminals. But the moment he gets faced with this choice, this thing that was presented to him, it would be so easy. In other films, you see like this person who's the best person at whatever, and they go into this other thing and they complain like, oh, I'm beneath this is beneath me, or something like that. We never see Robert complaining about where he's at. He just steps to whatever he has at the moment beautifully and very competently. Yeah.
My favorite's Beef.
My name's Beef and I'm naked.
I love Beef.
Tough to argue with that one.
I don't know if I have a least favorite necessarily. I think originally I was going to say Prism, but man, I use Prism so much and I really grew to really like her. All the characters are extremely likable.
I was thinking of that. My response to your question of like who's your favorite and least favorite in the way that we approached our Mass Effect companions discussion, which is, companions like Jacob who are underdeveloped and underutilized. Those become your least favorite just because the character wasn't interesting, and that character doesn't exist in Dispatch. Everybody is interesting. There's no complete missed opportunity. So it is very it's very much, I just don't like this character. I don't vibe with them. And for me, that's Prism. I cannot stand her. I find her so unlikable. But she makes for an interesting character, and her involvement in the story works. She fits the kind of MO of all of the other characters on the team. This kind of not quite a hero, but doing their best, and they could easily have been a villain. We're happy to see them on the other side, and the fact that they're not established and successful makes them a bit more likable, and they're figuring out their way. But yeah, I agree. Sonar is another one where like I've met that guy and we're not friends. So I could definitely see that.
Yeah. And you kind of have to play the game to kind of get the full gist of what we're saying. But immediately from the first couple of episodes, I think most people would say it's going to be Flambe. I don't like Flambe. Or not. Yeah.
I hated Flambe in the first episodes, and I hate that I like him now.
I think that is definitely showcased in the way he is written. Like, you are not supposed to like him when you first meet him. He is an arrogant douchebag, and
obnoxious.
You kind of come around to see how he got to where he is, and you're like, all right, so he always was kind of an arrogant douchebag, but like he's not so arrogant that he's not learning from his past mistakes and he's not trying to do better. It's just he's always been that guy. He doesn't know how to present himself any other way. So now that he's kind of moving in the right direction, he's still carrying a lot of the unlikable qualities he had when he was a villain. So again, is another like, there's no underutilized, underdeveloped character. It's just some of them are a little they're a little grating. They're a little abrasive, and you're not going to latch onto them in the way that you would just a purely likable character.
Yeah, he's very comfortable in his own skin. I mean, if you burn off his eyebrows, he's like, "See, it's still me, just no eyebrows." He's very comfortable with who he is.
He's an asshole and he knows it, and I'm all there for it. At that scene where they're in the gym and he's like, "Wow, I'm so strong."
Wow. I'm incredibly strong. Man,
yeah. You're such an asshole and you know it.
Yeah. I know when I was streaming that, I was looking at that. I was like, "Man, you don't lift without a spotter." And I said that. And then he comes by and he says, "Man, what are you doing? There's no spotter here. What are you doing? Stupid." And he's right.
God, I hate that I like him now.
Yeah. So weak. So weak.
I think that's exactly like that scene in particular. He's actually being somewhat nice to Robert, but he's doing it in such an asshole way. Like that is so emblematic of his growth as a character. Is he's getting better, but he's still an asshole.
Yeah. Let me casually save your life from death with these heavy weights. So it's hilarious.
They're so irrelevant to me because I'm so strong.
I'm so sorry. Look at this. I think he had like 5 plates on, and meanwhile, I think that was very specific because when Robert's like doing the bench, it looked like I think it even said 35 pounds, which is like not a standard weight. Like he actually reduced it, and then he added to the other side. It was like, what are you doing? Like, what is this? Like maybe he's just like not even thinking. He's got to get into the gym. Like he's not thinking. He's just putting weights on, and it's like a really well thought out scene, to be honest.
He's not in there. He's thinking about the flambe.
Yeah. Blonde Blazer. One thing you didn't like is that the reveal of her, Maffie, is that she's actually a little bit shorter. And I agree with you. I think it probably would have been better if she was a certain height as Blonde Blazer and actually a little bit taller as Mandy. And then it would be like the instead of like the normal where the woman is just a little bit shorter. Like what if she's a little bit taller than Robert, even as the brunette? That might give it a little bit,
I love it. I love the idea. Yeah, I loved it to start with because we are presented with Blazer at the very first episode, and she's presented in just this angelic, like with the backstreet backlight on the street, just like angelic thing, and you're like, oh my god, she's so beautiful and she's so strong and she's so nice. And you kind of get into that. You do realize that she's taller than Robert and stronger than Robert, and I'm all there for it. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do this. And then suddenly she turns into this very traditional version of a woman, which is just slightly smaller than Robert. Not strong. She's not as muscular as when she's got the gem on. I just felt like, man, change her appearance or something. Keep the height. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and that was one of the best reveals I've seen in a game, period. That when we've done a best reveal, I think before in the past episode, some of our whatever, that's one of them. Like her becoming, like, you don't know what to expect. First time playing that, you don't know if she's going to be like this horrific alien. Is it like the Liara Asari? She becomes like who she truly is, and it's like, oh, no.
I kind of hope so.
Yeah, everybody
I kind of hoped for a bit more than what we got.
I thought it was perfect because it was all this like elaborate thing just to become a brunette with blue eyes.
Normal.
Okay, I'm here for that.
Yeah, I do feel like there was a little lost potential there. And I mean, especially in the direction of her just becoming an average, traditional looking woman. I kind of feel like they had the opportunity to take this character they've established as almost like the ideal and have some fun with it and go in a new direction, and they just didn't.
Yeah, I think you would have to develop it a little bit more if we were going to make her like extremely different. Like you would have to like give a basis of why Robert's still like, I mean, maybe he just, that's who he is, but I think you might have to develop that a little bit more. But just making her pretty much look the same, just with brown hair, he's okay with that.
Yeah. Oh no, she's still beautiful.
Exactly.
I feel like that would, if they made, I see why they didn't, or maybe I don't, and I'm just thinking that I do. But it would make her less of an option for people to make her extremely different, and she's already in the less chosen option between Invisigal and Blonde Blazer anyways, which what's up with that? Like, Blonde Blazer all the way. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I think that's another reason that I'm not a huge fan of the reveal being what it is because I think, and this goes back and forth because you have to kind of appeal to your player base, and I get that. But I feel like this reveal of, oh, she's still a beautiful woman with like just all of the same kind of positive qualities doesn't really showcase what is important about the relationship between Blonde Blazer and Robert. And I think if they had kind of used that opportunity to showcase that Robert actually cared about who she was rather than, her appearance, which doesn't change all that much. In fact, kind of moves into a more traditional version of what somebody like Robert might appreciate. It feels like you had an opportunity to do something. You could have really showcased Robert as a somebody who had a meaningful connection with this person that transcended the traditions of what we think that relationship should look like. And you didn't take that opportunity, which it's not bad the way it worked out. It's just I would have enjoyed seeing them try something new there.
Yeah. Fair. Definitely fair. The romance arc though for Blonde Blazer just seems like there could have been a little bit more. It's just you end up being like professional and bits of like when you're doing the house party and stuff. Versus Invisigal is, I think, almost the canon playthrough because there's so much content with her, so many more moments with her, and that's
plot wise, yeah. But if you actually look into it, the person that you can kiss the most in the game is Blazer. You can kiss her 3 times.
I didn't kiss her at all the first time.
No, but you can,
Yeah.
right? It's enough. And with Invisigal, I think it's like once, right?
Well, there's once in the locker room and then twice at the ambulance.
Right, twice, right, twice. So two scenes in which we get something like that. And with Blonde Blazer, there's actually 3. But I do think that...
I don't know if I really count that first one. Just because that first one is when she's in a relationship with somebody else. It feels very inappropriate.
But Robert Robertson doesn't know that, right?
Yeah, he's the one doing the kissing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I just, overall, that scene feels like it's meant to convince you that there is something romantic developing, and then the reveal that she is with somebody else makes me feel shitty for misreading that.
Also, one thing is that when you have Phenomenon in your party, he makes love to Robert Robertson twice. And his version of making love is a hug. So it's very possible that Blonde Blazer is like looking forward to a kiss because maybe Phenomenon, because I have no indication whatsoever that Phenomenon even knows how to kiss. Well, he does that grab kiss. He's like, no, you're right. You would not have been the reason for me and Blonde Blazers because, he's a horrible kisser or something. I don't know.
No comment.
Yeah, I think that I've done it both ways now, where we get Phenomenon in the team and Waterboy in the team first. And I still think that I would definitely go with Waterboy. Because the whole Z team motto is that we're trying to make something better out of these people. Mm-hmm. And I think Phenomenon is in exactly the same development as Robert Robertson. He used to be something and now he's gone through this thing and he's not that anymore. And I think he just needs some space. He just needs to find something else to do. And so the way I see it is definitely I would get Waterboy in the team just makes more sense to me.
I think with Phenomenon, his growth is a little too close to home for a lot of people for us to want to play a video game about it because he is
an alien.
Phenomenon, yeah. I mean, Phenomenon's growth is about kind of understanding his role in the world, not as a hero, but just as a normal person and how to interact with other people and how to learn to respect boundaries and learn how cultures work and learn how you interact with other people. We're all kind of doing that on a daily basis. We're all put in positions where we struggle with that at some point. I don't need to play a video game where I'm doing that thing that I'm worried about getting wrong in real life. So I want to lead into how do you become a superhero? Because I'm never going to experience that. And if I screw it up, it won't be that big a deal. But if I screw up that thing I have to do in real life in a video game, it's going to be like, oh, I'm not prepared to go to work tomorrow. Crap. This is not good.
Conversely, Waterboy embodies the thing that we want, right? We want a chance, right? We want a chance to be able to do what we want and what we like. And seeing Robert Robertson giving him that chance makes us feel good inherently.
Yeah. Makes
us feel like we're doing the good thing that we would all want were we in his shoes as well. So, yeah.
I think my strongest criticism of the game, though, is the little mini game that you're giving these adjectives and you're supposed to figure out how they play into the skill set of your heroes. I didn't always associate certain things. Like sometimes you would think it'd be like, make sure you get there quickly. And I'm thinking like, that's mobility. That's an easy call. I know that is. But then they would say something else, but do it, you might need to bring somebody strong or something. So I'm thinking like that's vitality or maybe the strong one. But it was always like the opposite of what I was thinking. So I could never associate the adjective with the exact skill set. So
I think that's not bad though, because realistically, if we were doing the job that Robertson is doing, we also have to read between the lines, and we are also going to misread a couple of times. So, yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing, actually.
I also think that touches on something that I've mentioned before, which is my frustration with the inherent imprecision of language. And it is...
Exactly.
It's a double-edged sword in that you can get these beautiful stories with poetic language and this wonderful metaphor and figurative use of language. And then when you're trying to communicate something very precise and deliberate, you still struggle to find the perfect words to help somebody understand what you're saying. So language is inherently kind of the problem and this wonderful solution to problems we didn't even know we had. It's a really kind of interesting investigation into that, in that now we're associating that imprecision with how do we save people? How do we, like, lives are in the balance now because I don't understand what they're trying to communicate to me. And I think that
be too different from an actual dispatcher from medical care,
Yeah.
Someone calls and is in a hurry and doesn't, oh my God, I need help. You gotta like, okay, where are you? What do you need?
Yeah, and I think dispatchers and like you were saying, like medical care, they people in those roles have those specific words that they're looking for. Like, I go to my doctor and he's looking for symptoms. He doesn't need the story I'm telling him where I explain, like, when I first experienced this, what was going on. He's just like, I just need your symptoms. I'm going to compare that to your medical history. I'm going to put, just kind of isolate the things that are relevant to the diagnosis. And dispatchers do the same thing. Like, I don't know all of the information, but there's some information I don't care about. It's not going to help me make my decision. But the way we communicate with each other, you don't just say like only the relevant information. Somebody's going to tell you everything, and you have to filter out what is and is not useful. Yeah. And that's what makes the mini game of Dispatch fun. There's actual gameplay there.
Yeah, I would play a whole standalone version of that.
Yeah.
The calls that come in are really funny too, because they don't take themselves too seriously. They say,
yeah,
and you could tell like it's like Coupe or Prism on the phone. Like, yeah, you should send that bat dude. We have like this issue over here. I'm like, they're just trying to set them up or something. It's really funny. Some of them get into themselves, like they know themselves really well. So.
And you could also see, I don't know if you guys realized, but you can see the seriousness of the calls they get on the first episode that you get the Dispatch game, which is episode 2, all the way to episode like 7 and 8. The gravity of the type of calls that they get are much more severe than in the first one, which like in the first one is like, can you get this balloon for my kid?
Yeah, I think that's very helpful with the way the game develops, because when you first get control of the Z team, you're like, oh, they're terrible at everything. Yep. Let's not send them to actually save lives. Start with a balloon and we'll work our way up.
Yeah. And we literally do, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the very so we've talked about those kinds of games and my experience with games along the lines of Dispatch on the channel before. I'm not a huge fan of games that become kind of visual novels or like more interactive movies than games. So there are games like the Dark Pictures anthology games, which tell wonderful stories, but they don't suit me because I don't feel like the gameplay is enough to keep me engaged as a video game. but I think it would be a very effective like interactive movie because you're making decisions that impact the course of events. And I think they do a good job with that. It's just the gameplay elements don't hold my attention. Dispatch doesn't have that problem at all. Dispatch is kind of that perfect blend of interactive storytelling with gameplay that keeps you engaged, even though the gameplay doesn't really feel like it's directly tied to the story. So like it is, but if I'm bad at gameplay mechanics, I still get to enjoy the story. So I think Dispatch found a unique balance between those two, which is why, even though it falls into what I would consider a category that doesn't really appeal to me, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I meant to bring this up earlier, but when we talk about the art, one thing they did different from the Telltale games is there's really no cell shading. It's a very different presentation from what they've used in the past with Telltale. My favorite one that I've been playing more recently is the Batman series, and that one doesn't have a lot of cell shading. It's very much in that comic book style, but also it's probably closer to Dispatch than the other Telltale games, because like Wolf Among Us, Borderlands, heavy cell shading, heavy. This one is more reliant on that real lines, and I think it really worked better in that presentation for them. I think if this one was more the graphical novel or comic, the cell shading, I think it just wouldn't, I don't know if it would be as appealing. Be a little bit more distracting, a little bit more like action is going on in every scene that's not really requiring action to happen, like the Dispatch scenes.
It looks a lot more like cartoon, or like it reminds me a lot of Castlevania, the series.
Yeah.
Not the art style, but the painting style, let's say. Which is clear, and also there's another one, something dragon.
I know what you're talking about. It's Dragon Prince, maybe?
The Dragon Prince, yes. Yeah. That one is very, very similar to Dispatch, actually.
Yeah.
And I really like the art style, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely... I agree. And that's another one where I think when that was initially released, the art style of the Dragon Prince really appealed to me. And now that you kind of make that comparison between that and Dispatch, I see it, and probably why Dispatch's art appeals to me as well. It just really looks great.
Yeah. Looks clean. Is likable.
I would be remiss if I didn't actually talk about Invisigal a little bit more, because I know Banana really likes Invisigal, and I get it. You know, I love her character design. I love the choice of, let's give her short hair, nose ring. Let's make her, different enough from what we have with Blonde Blazer. But I totally get it. I mean, I every stream I've seen of people playing Dispatch, it's like, this is the hardest decision I've ever made in most games, is do I go to the movie theater with Invisigal or do I meet Blonde Blazer? Which one do I do?
That was really hard.
They sit in a coma there forever thinking, what do I do? What do I do? Yeah.
But I feel like it's really annoying sometimes. The devs made it. I kind of feel like the devs want us to choose Invisigal, because especially in that scene, if you choose Blonde Laser, you still get to see Invisigal's reaction at the cinema, which nobody needs that. It could just be a shot of Robert with his headset, and she says, "Yeah, have a whatever, good time," whatever she says. But no, they pan into the cinema and look at her sad, miserable face. It's like, come on, man, like, give Blonde Laser a chance.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things with that, the way that game is written. It definitely feels like Invisigal needs you, and Blonde Blazer will be fine if you choose Invisigal.
Which is fair.
The other way doesn't work out. Like if you choose Blonde Blazer, feels like Invisigal.
Which is fine. I definitely like that. I like that about Blonde Blazer. She is a comfortable woman in her shoes, and she will be fine with or without you, but she might be better with you. But we got to think about the gamers, right? When the gamers see that, they're like, oh man, like, oh, she's so sad. I need to go to the cinema with her because she's sad. So it's actually out of pity that they make a lot of the choices.
Yeah, I think that's kind of my issue with it. It doesn't feel like a choice in that moment. It feels like, well, I play video games and I choose to be a hero because I like helping people. One of these people needs help, and the other one is just looking for a partner.
Yeah.
Let's go help this other person. And it feels like it's not a decision about who you want to romance. It's like, do you want to help this person or not?
Yeah. And you don't know at the time when you're making that choice, but if you played the whole game, then you understand that what Invisigal really needs is not a partner. She just really needs someone to believe in her.
Yeah.
Regardless of what role that person is in her life.
I think as you play through the story, choosing to romance Invisigal, you realize like the first thing she needs is your forgiveness, which is that's a tough one when you come to the realization of everything that happened between her and Robert. But I think it's one of those things where like you understand she was making decisions without really knowing you at the time, and that makes it a little easier to kind of make that decision to forgive her. But it's still a very difficult kind of awkward position to be in. And then after that, she really just needs, like you were saying, somebody to believe in her, not necessarily a romantic partner.
Yeah.
Just somebody who sees her for who she is and what she's trying to be.
Actually, I think that mixing romance with it would actually be more toxic.
Yeah.
Because you would add dependency to a relationship. Dependency of approval to a romantic relationship, which is very, very dangerous. And yeah, I definitely feel like Invisigal is not the way to go with the romance. I'm much more comfortable with Blonde Blazer in that regard.
I think this is why Legion recognized that I was gonna like Invisigal, because she's Jack.
Yeah. She's
Yeah, look, see, I always thought, even though I always played with a male shepherd, right? I always thought, man, this girl doesn't need his genitals. She needs a friend.
And we did our Mass Effect companion tier list, and we talked about Jack, and we got into the discussion of like this very damaged person who needs support. She doesn't need a romantic relationship. She needs somebody to actually be genuinely there for her. And then Legion's like, can you give me a letter to put her on the tier list? And we were like, all right, hold on a second. We're talking about like this fragile, broken person, and now you want me to grade them on being a person. Like,
that's our job.
What's the syndrome called of people who fall in love with their saviors? Which happens often with police force and stuff.
Well, that's
like
the
Stockholm syndrome, or...
Yeah.
Is that it? Stockholm syndrome?
Stockholm syndrome is falling in love with like a captor or abuser.
No, there's another type of thing that people develop for their saviors, also for their doctors. It's a dependency. If they were saved
I'm not
by
sure
a
if that's
doctor.
named, but I do know there's because of like the hormone release in high intensity situations, you get almost this like neurological dependency for experiencing joy that you associate with the person who helped you through a very difficult time. And I'm sure that's along the same lines of where you're going, where like you associate the relief of surviving something very difficult with a person, and you kind of view that person as the stimuli you need to experience it, that joy and relief again, and you become kind of like desperately seeking that danger that you had with them so they can save you, and that's a very dangerous
Oh, here we go.
relationship.
It's called transference, where one begins to attach feelings, romantic feelings, to a person in a professional protector role, such as a doctor, therapist, policeman, and others.
Yeah. And that's very specific to that, but sometimes you see it in the parasocial side. So a lot of times when streamers were streaming during COVID, it kind of got people through the hump of being alone and isolated. They could return to those streamers over and over. There's a sense of comfort there that they're displacing because they're not integrating their own, real world stuff. So it's a very dangerous place to be. You're right.
Yeah, so I definitely think there's a lot of that going on with Invisigal, which I
Yeah.
do not agree with. Like, let's not mix both things.
And I was definitely thinking about that one scene with the Invisigal. I think from a writer's point of view, when you see her in the movie theater again, the reason why you get that scene, and they should have done the same thing with Blazer. You're not wrong with that.
Yeah, they should have panned out to Blazer, and she's like on her phone, like, oh man, or even
Or
like
she
look
looks
at
over at the
food.
dinner table. Exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he's like,
exactly.
"Oh, well."
Like, yeah.
And then maybe Waterboy comes by and she says, "Hey, you want?" And because we know
Have
he's
some
there.
dinner?
Yeah, not that there would be anything there, but she's like, "Do you want that?" She's like, "Yeah, sure." Because remember, he didn't get a chance to eat, like because he had the honeydew and the fruit plate things.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was thinking like with that particular scene, the thing is that from a writer's point of view, when you have Invisigal having to look at her phone again, the only endings that are somewhat variable, the different endings, the bad ending and stuff, all involve Invisigal. So you kind of almost have to build that type of scene. And I get it. They should have just done that with Blazer anyway. But that I think there's a reason why. I think they just kind of wrote themselves in that direction.
Even, I don't know if you guys saw the deluxe version where they show the thumbnails for each scene. And the thumbnails include Blazers. They don't include the romance with Invisigal. So maybe they did it on purpose, or I don't know. But I think they always thought Blonde Blazer was going to be a romance. Maybe Invisigal as well. But yeah, I
If you had a vote, would you say Dispatch Game of the Year, or would you say Expedition 33?
wow. Why you gotta do me like that? Wow.
It's a
I
hard.
played both.
My point is that it's a hard call, and that's how good those games are.
Yeah, they did incredibly, and I'm really looking forward to going to the concert. They're gonna do a concert for Expedition 33, the soundtrack, and the singer is also going. The French singer, forget her name, and the composer is also going, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's gonna be in London, I think, in April.
Calm, actually, the musician, is not a huge fan of the music of it, and I get it, but I think it fits for the game, though. That was always my point. I think it really fits it well for the game.
French music is amazing.
Oh, he wanted to be over the top French. Like he wanted it to be like obviously French the whole time through. I'm like, he's on record. I have this recorded of saying it should have been entirely in French, no localization. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I said, because we would have subtitles. He said, no subtitles. 100% in French.
I do think there might have been a little bit of hyperbole
the music
there.
is not in English, is it? Well, the main one isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's in French. Yeah, but he was saying the entire game, like
Yeah.
voice actors.
I do think he might have been leading into that a little bit and performing, but
if he was here right now, I can almost guarantee he'd say that. He's like, no, you.
I think he wanted to Expedition 33 to be a bigger showcase of French culture, but also wanted people to have to earn it, that's a very strange position in my point of view.
But for you guys, this point of view might be interesting, is that I grew up reading subtitles. for me, it's normal because English wasn't my first language. And even now, even though I understand everything that people say on a show, I'll still have subtitles sometimes, or most of the time, actually, and in games. But native English speakers don't have that because they never. Why would they have subtitles if that's their language? I think that if they did that and only in French, I think they would lose a lot of the player base that is from English-speaking countries.
Oh yeah.
So,
obviously,
and I do think that's why. That's why I believe Calm is just being hyperbolic. But I do agree that even for the native,
like English-speaking people that played the game in French with subtitles, but that would be a very small minority. I feel.
Yeah, I think there are some people who think given the amount of French influence in the characters, it feels almost more appropriate to hear them in French. So I think that's one of those things where, like, you probably won't see that on anybody's first playthrough because they don't have enough understanding of what's going on to make that decision. But people who have played through the game or have played through far enough to recognize, like, oh, that seems more appropriate, let's try that. That will definitely become an option, and I'm very glad that that's in the game. But as far as like the native English speakers' approach to that, particularly people like me who don't have another language that they're familiar with, they are only English speakers. I think it's one of those things where even among us, there are people who have the preference to have subtitles on all the time. And I think we're seeing a lot more of that with the kind of investigation into auditory processing conditions and people who have that kind of delay between hearing something and processing it. In a game like Claire, where there's a lot of information that's being communicated very quickly in conversation and in cutscenes, having the subtitles on helps people who have those conditions keep up, because it kind of engages both aspects of your brain, where you're listening to it, you're reading along, and it comes together a lot more quickly. But it's probably not the majority, and they are definitely just making a let's appeal to the masses kind of call. But I'm one of those people who has subtitles on all the time, no matter what, even if it's in a language I already understand.
That's been a meme where people will look at a video, like they're cooking or something, and they can understand because they have subtitles, even if it's in their own language, and then they look away to cook, and then they don't understand anything that's going on. It's like they've become so used to reading with subtitles as well. Yeah.
I did hear and watch the game in both English and French, and I did think that the English VAs did a better job.
I think it was intended for that. Yeah.
So yeah, right. However, for example, Silent Hill F, I much preferred the delivery of the Japanese VA than the English VA.
Yeah.
For sure.
Ghost of Tsushima is the same way. You have to do that in Japanese. It is so good. And then just do it with the English subtitles. Man, that game and it's American developers who did that one. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the Japanese developers really gave it kudos. They said, you guys did a really good job with that. So it wasn't just me, just like, I thought it was pretty good. They got a lot of accolades, even from Asian developers.
I think Ghost of Yote is one of those ones where I think it's very amusing because the voice actress Erika Ishii, I am a big fan of hers, but not any of her performances for some reason. I prefer the other voice in Veilguard. I prefer the other voice in Ghost of Yote, but I really like her. Well, I guess they use they them pronouns. I really like them. But for whatever reason, whenever they are involved in something, I always seem to prefer the alternative, which feels bad.
Yeah, I think Expedition 33 for me would get my vote. I do think Dispatch, though, is a phenomenal game. We were kind of we're just lucky to have two great games in the same year, period. I loved SKA and Expedition 33, kind of like Beef.
Oh my god, I can't. I think SKA is on the same level as Prism for me.
Oh, really?
Because I cannot count the times I repeated their lines just like in public. Like, let's go for a swim. Or time for and then you got the other side. What you mean temporarily? Bitch, you blind forever. It's just so iconic, and I can't count the times I've said those lines out loud in real life.
She took Coupe's knife, and Coupe's like, you could ask next time. She said, what you say, you butter knife bitch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, she's just got such iconic lines. Which is one of the reasons why she's one of my favorites as well. I also really like Thought Squad. So, and I discovered that with the game, so I'm really glad I had that experience, because I love the songs. I can't stop listening to the songs.
Yeah, I think I told you that when you were streaming, like, who is that? And I said, oh, that's Thought Squad. But you have to be careful, because Twitch sometimes will, the word...
Auto mod.
Yeah, it'll auto mod the word thought on it, so whatever. But we will wrap it up there. I appreciate everybody being here. Maffie, it is a pleasure talking to you today. Hopefully we can keep you on for maybe one more recording on those future recordings. But we will wrap it up there. If you like the video, like it, subscribe. Subscriptions are always free on YouTube. Thank you for your all support, and go play Dispatch. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.